What's up, guys? This is Rise, and welcome to another video. The Ultra League is upon us, and I've got some epic battles for you in this video. We're in the Open Ultra League here, and man, I think this is a really good video. This team has some really epic wins. There's multiple games in this video, 10 games in total, where it seems like we are in a terrible spot, and we find a way to get the win. So I think you'll enjoy this video here. G-Fisk, Mew, Drifblim is the team. We're in a decent lead here against Berserker. We have to respect the close combat, right? He shields our Earthquake. I get off a Rock Slide here. Questionable decision to throw the Rock Slide, but does some nice chip damage since he's debuffed. And then I kind of just anticipate when I think he's going to throw his close combat, and I catch it on the Drifblim. So a nice catch there. Triple resisted because of that ghost flying typing. I try and CMP tie here on a potential Brave Bird, debating whether I want to shield. I shield the last second just a flame charge, so not ideal. But I will be able to land this move here, most likely. Land the Shadow Ball, and I can just go straight for the Icy Wind. This would definitely KO from this range, so I might grab a shield. Talonflame's going to do one more Incinerate, so he went one over. So he should be 2 Incinerates away, and that's why I aggressively swap into my Mew. I don't want the Talon to farm me down. Berserker is going to get off a move here, which will hurt, but this is Ultra League, so not going to put me that low, but he's a little bit tankier. And in comes Armored Mewtwo, which is pretty good for us. I throw my Flame Charge as soon as possible to ramp up my attack. And I'm going to CMP tie here, most likely on the Psy Strike. And I also threw the Flame Charge just to be a little bit safer, because theoretically, if I throw a Wild Charge, he could Confusion me down and then get off, like, I don't know, a Dynamic Punch. But Dynamic Punch wouldn't even KO my G-Fisk. So I was in a pretty safe spot. Gonna overfarm a little bit, get off my Rock Slide and a couple Mud Shots, take out Berserker, and we get a nice dub in our first battle with this team. Just kind of a team I threw together, and it's been working really well. This is where we want to see the green in the lead, because it would be tough for our back 2 Pokemon, since that normal typing will double resist our ghost moves. And yeah, there's a concept of an ABB team, right? Where like your back 2 Pokemon cover your lead. And that's the case with this team in terms of fighters in the lead. But it's almost like a CBB team, because Mew and Drifblim are both weak to Dark. And G-Fisk is just kind of like neutral against Dark. So it's it's like a CBB team, I would say. But G-Fisk, obviously, we all know, is one of the strongest Pokemon in PvP. I land the EQ there. He'll get to one more crunch. Not ideal, but we're going to win this lead pretty comfortably. I'm already thinking I might swap out to preserve this G-Fisk. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I swap into Drift. In comes Trev. So I made a questionable decision there to swap my Drifblim instead of my Mew. But this actually works out well, because ahead energy, I'm going to be able to just get off Icy Winds here. And he's kind of forced to shield, right? Because he can't afford to have his Tox aligned with the Drifblim. So just going straight Icy Wind. If shields were down, I'd be going for Shadow Ball, since it hits a lot harder. But because all shields were still in play, I was just going for Ices. He double baited me, and I actually catch here. Hoping it's a Shadow Ball. And yeah, so that worked out really well. That worked out really well after getting double baited. Like a nice catch. I do 1 Hex, since I knew he had not much energy. Icy Wind takes him out. And in this situation, I'm actually just going to go straight for the Icy Wind, because if I go for the Shadow Ball, he gets to the Sludge Bomb first. And this way I can debuff him. And now he would need like 2 Sludge Bombs to take out my Mew. And there's no way that's going to happen. He's just going to get to a Wild Charge before that occurs. And Mr. Mew, the shiny Mew, takes out Toxie for the dub. Nice win there. And yeah, this team also shows you don't necessarily need the best IVs. The Drifblim is like not very XL. I think it's level 40.5. The G-Fisk isn't quite a hundo, and it's not best buddied either yet. I've almost got it best buddied. Here against the Lapras. Gonna try and chip it with Rock Slide and then dip out of here, because with this team you almost have to swap out at some point if there's like not a dark type in the lead. In comes Giratina. And this is a little bit scary because I have Flame Charge, Wild Charge, kind of for like the Steel types Flame Charge and Wild Charge as a heavy hitting neutral move against most things, and also for water coverage. I do successfully shield the Shadow Sneak, which is nice. Oh wait, by the way, was this against Oxford? Yeah, this was the game against Oxford. Fellow content creator, so shout out to him. He's got a YouTube channel himself. So yeah, not having like Dark Pulse here hurts me against the Giratina. Just ramping myself up, ramping up. I'm going to shield here again, because I feel like my Mew could be viable later. He actually gets to a move. Because I desynced and lost a turn there, it allows him to get his move off first. But it actually kind of works out for me, because it allows me to store that move, since I lagged actually, and it gave him the move first. The SCAV farms me down, but that's totally okay, because I'm going to completely hex it down with my Drifblim. I get sprayed. Not ideal. But I'm going to come out of here with a lot of energy. The Mega Horn hurts after that. Going to get off a Shadow Ball here. I'm hoping to get the last shield, hopefully. I don't. I swap. I Wild Charge. And he lets it go. And Oxford actually said in the comments of my last video that it did the visual glitch for him, where it still showed my Drifblim. And it didn't show the Mew. So that's why he didn't shield there. So definitely a little bit lucky for me. If he shields that, I think he probably wins that game. So definitely unfortunate state of the game for him. And I guess you'll see karma later. Foreshadowing this video, we get unlucky as well with some glitches. But we sneak out a win. We get baited here by the Jelly with Bubble Beam. In comes A9, and it's a Charm A9, which is a little bit better for Drifblim. Powder Snow would be a lot worse. Go for my Shadow Ball right away. I'm hoping this is a CMP tie. That would be ideal. And they're overfarming a ton. They let me get off an Icy Wind here. And I'm really hoping they shield this. And they do, which is amazing for me. I probably should have stopped hexing there to give my G-Fisk more farm, because now my G-Fisk only gets like one mud shot, maybe two. But yeah, I probably should have stopped hexing there. Got more farm with my G-Fisk. In comes the Jelly. The Jelly has residual energy, so I'm going to let it expend energy on me here and then swap out. Bubble Beams me. I go into Mew. In comes Mandy. This is not looking good. This is kind of triple countered. But I'm going to overfarm as much as possible. I'm going to let him hit me with the first one before I debuff myself. It is a Dark Pulse. That's going to hurt, but you see the added bulk in Ultra League. Pokemon can tank moves a little bit better. I go for a Wild Charge. Unfortunately, he sneaks in a Snarl. So I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get to another move. But he actually lets them both go. I have to let this go at this point. I have to. Aerial Aces me. Going for a Mud Shot down. I get the Mud Shot down. Because I know he wants to debuff me, I go for a bait here. This bait would be huge. I do get the bait. Very nice. It's going to be a CMP tie here. My thought process is I'm not going to shield, because either he expends a lot of energy and I don't get debuffed, or he throws a little Bubble Beam, which won't hurt too bad. I EQ. It looks like the next EQ would KO, but I'm pretty sure our opponent at this point is just going straight Bubble Beam, and I recognize that. I probably should have just thrown that Earthquake right away, but I wanted to make sure my my move timing was ideal. I didn't want him to potentially sneak in a free Hex on me. I get off an EQ. Now I just need to get off a Rock Slide. Come on, G-Fisk. And G-Fisk gets there just in time. So a game that was not looking too good. We got baited by the Bubble Beam on the Jelly against our Drifblim. So I got a not so good lead. In comes the A9. Like not a terrible counter swap, but not a great swap either. And then Mandy is a pretty hard check to Mew. So we kind of got like soft checked throughout the game. It's kind of like three things that probably are supposed to beat the Pokemon that they were aligned with. But because we were able to manage our energy and farm and call some baits and bait ourselves, we're able to flip a game where it was kind of like 3 slightly negative matchups for us. But we still find a win. And we're on to set number 2. But yeah, that was my first set. That was my first set ever running that team, and it was on stream, so that was pretty fun. All right, Talonflame here. Definitely a favorable matchup for Talon. Our opponent actually swaps into Wall Rain, which really surprised me. I guess they tried to catch the Rock Slide. I don't know, but I'm not gonna throw Rock Slide after 5 Mud Shots. That'd be kind of silly. Gonna get off 2 here. I go into Mew. I was trying to catch an Earthquake, and they Earthquake me for some reason. I mean, he had time to react, but I'm almost certain that Earthquake is less efficient without stab than 2 Icicle Spears. I ended up shielding the Icicle Spear anyway, so you could argue I should have just shielded the first one. I'm gonna bait here with Flame Charge. Just because I don't want him to be able to like easily incinerate me down. I'm debating whether I want to shield or not. I do decide to shield because I know I can get off this Wild Charge, which would be pretty nice. And this was lame. This was lame. So, some of you guys probably immediately understand what just happened. But the way turns work in this game is you have different turn duration fast moves, right? So Shadow Claw is a 2-turn fast move. Talonflame runs Incinerate, which is a 5-turn fast move. So theoretically, I should be able to do 2 Shadow Claws, throw my Wild Charge, before the Talonflame can do 1 Incinerate and throw its Flame Charge. 2 Shadow Claws is 4 turns, 1 Incinerate is 5 turns. But because we lag, it really kind of takes the game away from us. Not that we would have won this game for sure. We were still probably in an unfavorable position. But you can see the Talonflame has like already started its like fast move before we have, which creates a desync, and the Talonflame actually gets its move off first. So I think we lagged for 2 turns there. And like if we get off that Wild Charge, he probably shields, right? And would have been like a delayed CMP hopefully, and we still have a chance. Maybe it's in Rock Slide range by that point. So just really unfortunate lag there. Not necessarily that we would have won that game if not for the lag, but we would have had a decent chance if not for the lag. I think there was still a lot of play. But we're on to the next one. Good lead here. Stunfisk into Shadow Skuntank. Swaps Mewtwo, and we have a great counter swap for this with our Mew. Gets the denial. I assume it's just a Psy Strike. I think they threw right away at 4 Confusion, so it had to be a Psy Strike. I go for my Flame Charge here. I threw on Alignment, which I don't recommend. Because, yeah, he got into free Confusion. He got like 3 Confusions there, apparently. I'm going to shield this one just to maintain some health, because I feel like I can farm up a lot here. And potentially get that shield back against the next Pokemon. Oh, he actually shields. So I decided to throw my next Flame Charge right here. He's going to have to double shield if he wants to go for switch. So now we're like boosted up so much. And I should be able to get off a wild charge here. This is going to do so much damage if it lands. Gets shielded, so that's good too. We got the last shield, so now we can Earthquake this thing later on, hopefully. Come in Fisk. He comes in Trev, and I should be in a good spot here. I expect he'll probably bait me, but he can't bait me and get to a Shadow Ball before I get to my Shadow Ball here, so safe play is to just shield it anyway. We get off our Shadow Ball. This should, boom, KO the Trev. And yeah, the Skuntank would have to crunch us to take us out, and a Flamethrower wouldn't even KO our G-Fist before we got to an Earthquake. So G to the G. And we are on to the next battle. Rocking the Season 10 Legend pose. Let me know in the comments, for those of you that have hit Legend, or for anyone, what's your favorite pose in Pokemon Go? What's your favorite pose? Whether it's one of the Legend poses or just maybe like the guitar pose, any pose in general. Let me know in the comments. So here, if you're a Stunfisk against Talonflame, you always want to throw after 7 Mud Shots or 2 Mud Shots. 2 or 7. I'm debating whether I want to shield. I decide not to. I'm actually going to throw after 1 Mud Shot here because I don't want that Incinerate to register as damage onto my G-Fisk. I aggressive swap into Drifblim. This has to be a Flame Charge, but I'm going to shield it anyway. Just because it's boosted, it'll do a little bit more. Oh, never mind. I am wrong. I was 1 off of my counts there. Walrein comes in, but because we have such a head start, this is not that bad. And we sneak in a free Hex because our opponent didn't throw on ideal timing. So we're actually going to get to this second Shadow Ball here, I believe at the same time as the second Icicle Spear. And Drifblim, believe it or not, takes back Switch. In comes Cress. And I'm actually able to bank an Icy Wind for later and switch out into Mew. And now we're looking to be in a pretty good position. Moonblast definitely hurts. Crest sneaks in a Psycho Cut. Man, Psycho Cuts are tough when they sneak in because they generate a lot of energy. I decide to shield this here. I get baited, unfortunate. I'm ramping up my attack here. I get the last shield. Grass Knot comes in. I thought it was interesting they Grass Knotted there. I swap in G-Fisk. I get to the Rock Slide, and now we're in a good spot. They probably thought the Incinerate would take me out before I got to the Rock Slide. But now the Crest is in an impossible situation because even if the Crest doubles up on moves here, my Mew is going to win CMP. And I also had a move banked on Drifblim too, so I actually had 2 moves banked. And we're able to take the dub. There we go. Mew putting in a lot of work against that whole team. Like, it had a lot of play. The Wild Charge for Talon and for Walrein. And the Shadow Claw damage for Cresselia. I swap straight into Drifblim here. In comes Muck, which isn't that bad. I go straight for the Shadow Ball because I feel like people tend to think you're going to Icy Wind them with shields up. So I land the Shadow Ball, very nice. I sneak in a Hex, which is pretty nice. And I actually think I live this even if it's a Dark Pulse, so that's why I let it go. They actually decided to bait me with Thunder Punch. So I get off an Icy Wind. And at this point, I'm feeling pretty good. Like, I'll probably be able to take back Switch here. He does get off another move, so I will shield this time. Hoping I can at least get the shield back against whatever comes in. Because I'm already at a Shadow Ball here. Does the Jelly come in? It's going to have to respect my moves. I go for the Shadow Ball here. They sneak in a Hex. I also overfarmed as much as I could to try and throw off their counting. I land the Shadow Ball. And I get off an Icy Wind as well. against the Sylveon. And we're in a really dominant position here. We can just come in with G-Fisk, which pretty much hard walls Sylveon. Those charms look like they're going kind of fast. Charms going kind of fast. And yeah, the reason I'm going straight Rock Slide here is I feel like it's just the safe play. Because if they shield an Earthquake, it's just kind of like wasted energy versus they're going to have to shield something eventually, right? So I do get a shield from that Rock Slide. Going to get off another one here, and we still have a fully healthy Mew that we're going to save our shields for. Or shield, singular. No point in shielding this in my opinion, because if it's a Shadow Ball, that's going to expend a lot of energy, and now my Mew can just close out the game. I wasn't sure if he even had enough energy for a Shadow Ball, but the safe thing is to shield. It is a Shadow Ball, so good thing I shielded. And we have the charge loaded for the Sylveon. G to the G. Theoretically, maybe should have done a few more Shadow Claws first, in case that didn't KO, but it is whatever. And we get the dub. G-Fisk, Mew, Drifblim has been working really well. And if you guys have these three, I encourage you to try it out. Obviously really weak to Umbreon in the back, so you kind of want to lure it out with Drifblim safe swap. Or you could also run Mew as a safe swap and maybe use a different Mew set with like, I don't know, with Focus Blast or something crazy. The sad thing is Umbreon is so dang tanky in Ultra League that Focus Blast from Mew probably only does like a little over half or something. I get off another Rock Slide. Probably going to get a shield here. I do grab a shield. I catch on my Mew, which obviously is still going to hit for neutral damage, but I want to preserve that G-Fisk for later. And it's a good thing I did, right? Because I lure out the Drapion here. And I figured a Crunch would pretty much KO me anyway. So I just go straight for the Wild Charge. And do I actually shield this? I do. Because I know I can get to this next charge, or at least I think I can. But I was wrong. How was I so far off on my counts? So far off. Probably because we keep desyncing. And I actually take it out, interesting enough. I catch on the G-Fisk. Catch on the G-Fisk. Get off this Rock Slide right away. I kind of lost track of how much energy the Wall Rain had. In comes Talon. This is looking tough. Man, this is definitely looking tough. I come in with Drifblim. I kind of have to, right? They Flame Charge me because they don't want to debuff themselves. I go for a Shadow Ball here right away since I feel like I can maybe get to a Wild Charge. So they have to let the Shadow Ball go through. They're going to take me out here. And they are 3 Incinerates away. No, they're 2 away. So I go for a Flame Charge here to ramp up my attack. I get the shield. And unfortunately, lag costs us the game. So some of you hear me say that and you're like, Rise, what are you talking about? Lag cost you the game. They just got there with a few HP. Well, the game didn't work properly once again with the pause. So I'll break it down for you that for those of you that didn't catch it. So I throw after 2 Shadow Claws, right? It's 4 turns compared to 5 turns for Incinerate. I throw after proper alignment. I go for the Flame Charge here. And right there, you see a little bit of a pause. So what should happen here? The Talonflame is 1 Incinerate away, which is 5 turns. Shadow Claw, as we talked about earlier, is a 2-turn fast move. It takes 1 turn for kind of the damage to apply and the charge move to register. So I should be able to get off 3 Shadow Claws of damage before the Talonflame gets off its move. And you'll see here, 1, 2, and because of the desync, the 3rd Shadow Claw damage doesn't apply. and the Talonflame gets off its move. So I think it would have KO'd from there, just based off of the damage from the previous two. Like you see, 1 there, 2 there. Would have been real close. I guess it's possible. It's very tough to tell. I think it's kind of a guessing game. I think it would have KO'd, but it's possible the Talon lives with like 1 HP. It is possible the Talon lives with like 1 HP and gets to that flame charge anyway, so could have gone either way, but it's just tough, you know? Because like let's say hypothetically the Shadow Claw was enough to KO there. I win that game if it's not for the lag. If the Shadow Claw wasn't enough to KO there, I lose anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But man, just wish the game could work properly, because I felt like if it did, we theoretically could have gone on a 10-0 run here. But on the other side, right, Oxford U, the game glitched for him and did that visual glitch where it still showed the original Pokemon and not the other Pokemon on the combo play. So theoretically, we probably shouldn't have won that game because of a glitch on his side. But then there were 2 games that we could have won if not for lag that affected us. So this team was a ton of fun. Had a ton of great games in there, a ton of great catches. Just wish the state of the game could improve a little bit or a lot of bit. But you guys know me. I'm not a negative Nancy. I still love this game. I love the community. And I just think it has so much room and potential, and I care. So I hope they can rework some things and try and make this desync and lag as minimal as possible. But all that said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'd very much appreciate it. Comment anything you'd like down below. All comments help us out here, help our videos get on people's recommended feeds. And all that said, thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.